August 25th, 2023. Good morning, everyone. It is 7:20 or 7:30 a.m. Central Time. This report came out 30 minutes ago at 8 a.m. Eastern. What we got, and the main thing we're going to have to watch now, is this system that we've been talking about. It's moved across the peninsula out of the Pacific into the Caribbean. It's a 70% chance of development. It says a broad area of low pressure over the northwestern Caribbean Sea is producing organized showers and thunderstorms. Environmental conditions appear conducive for gradual development of the system during the next several days, and a tropical depression is likely to form late this weekend, today's Friday, or early next week, while moving generally northward over the northwestern Caribbean Sea and eastern Gulf of Mexico. That eastern Gulf, guys, is the Florida Gulf side, the west side of Florida. It says interest in the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico, western Cuba, and Florida should monitor the progress of the storm. Formation in 48 hours, 30%, 7 days, 70%. It's not going to be out there 7 days. Again, they're saying late this weekend or early next week. Now, looking at the wide Atlantic, you can see that Franklin has crossed the Haiti and Dominican Republic, and just as the models predicted, it is now moving southeast back in this direction, and it's kind of growing in size. Check this out. Now, it's supposed to halt its eastward movement, turn back to the left, and move northwestward between Bermuda and the East Coast. These two storms back here I'm not too concerned about. We have a couple that the models are showing developing back here. We'll watch them as we need it. But right here, just to the right or east of the Yucatan, the sun has not risen yet on the satellite images. It's just before getting there. That's why you see the daylight out along the East Coast. But as the sun comes up, we'll get a clearer picture of this, but we can take a look at it in the infrared. Of course, it just came across the peninsula last night, so those mountains will strip back some of the power of that storm, but now it's in open waters, and if it shoots that gap between Cuba and the Yucatan Peninsula, nothing will prohibit it from strengthening as it moves northward. Now let's take a look at Franklin. It is now at 60 miles per hour as far as sustained winds, moving east-northeast at 6 miles per hour. That will slow down, turn this thing back in by 2 a.m. Sunday morning. You've got a hurricane, and then right in here it's going to become a Cat 2, remember? And Bermuda, if you're lucky, this thing will stay to the left of this tracking zone, and you'll get the outer bands. But if it stays to the right, you're going to get that northeast quadrant that is the most powerful as far as wind and waves. So keep your eyes on this. Then by 2 a.m. Wednesday, it's going to be setting off the coast of New York and Massachusetts right in here. Now, that could still be a Cat 2 hurricane by that time. We'll take a look at some other information. And they have kept that at a 2, even well north of Bermuda. Check that out. This will be there Tuesday at 2 a.m. 110 mile per hour storm will be to the west of you in Bermuda. But as it approaches from this side, remember this is just the path, the yellow area, and that is saying that somewhere inside that path will be the center of circulation, but the storm can be larger. So you guys in Bermuda, you're still kind of under the gun. You're going to have to pay attention to this. And then this is going to move out. It may miss St. John's in that area, but it looks like 2 or 3 of these storms are going to connect as this low pressure system opens up the East Coast and combine energy. And if I were you guys in the UK, I'd pay very close attention to what's going to happen this week. Taking a look at the wide view from Africa to the U.S., you've got both of the storms that just formed following each other into the UK. Check that out. 2 more behind it. Another one is forming in the Gulf of Mexico at this point. Another system is coming off of Africa. There goes Frederick up the East Coast. Franklin. There comes the system that just moved in. Another system's tailing it. UK, you're going to get some weather for sure, according to this model. Then again, another system forming in the Gulf of Mexico by the end of this model. There goes the system that is in the Caribbean now, and then 2 more following it that have developed out into the Atlantic. These models will get tighter and tighter as far as the future goes past this weekend. But notice the system that's going to follow Franklin coming right through the Florida Panhandle, right there. We know this tracking model will change slightly over the next few days. Here's forming over the Yucatan, coming up, right, well, you see it, guys, right into the Florida Panhandle and out through southern tip of Georgia, and then follows Franklin up towards the UK. Now, the Navy model is almost the exact same as the Canadian model, and that's when we were talking about these two models. When they start matching up, then we can got a very good idea, very close idea of where these storms are going to happen. Notice again, Franklin moves up. This time it's a little further east as it gets higher into the North Atlantic. But right here we've got the storm developing in the Caribbean, coming almost across the same area, maybe just a little further south, not much. Watch it one more time. All right, this is on the 28th, 3 days away. Your system is in the Gulf proper. Step this thing forward. Still on the 29th. Notice your timestamp, so it's moving forward very quickly there. By the 30th, it's over land, and then it's out to sea. But this time, this system is not curving to the right, and the Caribbean system getting right behind it. Speed it up. Notice the high pressure bills back in this area, and this storm is pushed back to the northwest. But guys, we're watching it. It's still early. We'll get more modeling going up throughout the morning here. A couple other things I want to talk about, but I'm going to get this up. So guys, start preparing late this weekend, it said, or early next week for this system in the Gulf of Mexico to form. It's a heads up, guys. Be safe.